Hi, I'm Jeff Hirsch with the Right Brain Studio, and today we're talking to John Rindlaub, the Vice President of Marketing for Express Scripts. John, Express Scripts is a $45 billion company now, ranked 51st on the Fortune 500 list, but it's not exactly a household name for many people. Can you tell us briefly what the company does?
Sure. Express Scripts is a pharmacy benefit manager. And essentially what we do is we process prescription drug claims on behalf of our clients. Our clients are large companies, government organizations, and health plans. And basically what we do is we sit between the consumer who wants to buy affordable prescription drugs and our clients who are looking to save money on behalf of those members. We aggregate the buying power of 75 million members across our client base. And we use that buying power to reduce the cost, make those prescription drugs safer and more affordable for those.
Now, you've worked on the forefront of innovation in major companies across a wide range of categories over the course of your career, including places like Pepsi, BarnesandNoble.com, Citibank, and now Express Scripts. I'm wondering, over your career, thinking about innovation, where have your best ideas come from? Do you think that the great ideas come more from process or people, some combination of the two, or somewhere else?
That's a great question, Jeff, and I love that question because I don't think there's one answer. I think the common thing across all those companies is that you have to create a culture of innovation. You have to be able to foster an environment as leaders where it's okay to fail and learn from those failures, because behind every success are usually dozens of failures. So I think that's the commonality across all of them. I think it would be wrong and stubborn to apply a single-minded approach to innovation across those companies. But I can say that I think it is a combination. You have to have a good process, and the process has to be right for each culture. Typically, that's a stage gate process where you kill off the bad ideas early, and the good ideas make it through the funnel. The challenge is to always kill those bad ideas off quickly, and that's one of the real risks in innovation, is hanging on to those pet projects way beyond their useful life. The other thing I think is helpful is to engage the people that are going to have to implement early to make sure the culture is aligned. So you got to get technology, IT, operations, call centers, all the people that are going to bring these ideas to life, particularly in complex, more service-oriented cultures rather than the packaged goods cultures. Clearly, so a defined process, early and often involvement from the parties are going to have to implement. And then I think don't forget to involve the customer. I mean, customer rarely has the right idea, but they'll certainly have the insights to generate the areas that you want to ideate around. You have to focus on the right pain points. It's very easy to go off on tangents and spend a lot of time creating ideas that aren't relevant or differentiated to the needs of those customers. So I think it is a combination of process, great culture, early and often involvement of all the right parties, and then making sure you stay in close contact with the customer, whether it's the end customer, consumer, or the middle throughout the process.
Well, speaking of a focus on the customer, it leads me to my next question. Most of your experience up to now is focused on marketing to consumers with companies that relied heavily on consumer research in the innovation process, but now your role is much more B2B. So I'm wondering how you test innovations now with this very different target market, how you bring the voice of your customer into your process.
Yeah, they really are very different processes. In those packaged goods industries, like I've worked for J&J and Pepsi, and obviously you're right, Jeff. There's a very disciplined quantitative and qualitative sort of process to generate those ideas and get them into test market. And typically it might be a long time from the time you have an idea to the time R&D is able to manufacture it, and the time you're able to get it into test market, and then by the time it maybe makes it out of test market into a full launch. In the B2B world, at least at Express Scripts, and I think this is probably true in financial services, some of the other B2B areas I've worked in, you want to get the idea out in the hands of customers early. You want to get early and often feedback. I think so at Express Scripts we have a group called the Research and New Solutions Group that literally is rapid prototyping new ideas. They're not products in the classic sense. They might be new ways to communicate to members, new plan or benefit designs, new financial incentives, or more importantly, just applying what we call related world concepts, taking the whole idea of behavioral sciences and applying it to healthcare where it's never been applied. So I think we've got some very innovative customers. We seek those guys out. A great example is Bob Erie at Lowe's, the home improvement center. They've been on the forefront of a lot of our innovations because he's just willing to test, willing to experiment. So you have to find customers that are eager to try new things, get your ideas into market quickly, learn from those customers, and then roll them out. So it is very different. The R&D, the upfront process to create these things tends to be shorter, so we can get them into market quicker, get some feedback, kill the bad ideas, and move forward on the good ones. So the B&B approach, at least in our industry, is actually a much faster cycle time than you might find if you were launching a new software or a new drug or something like that.
Yes, it seems that in the consumer world, companies are always looking for the early adopters and the people who might accept products before the mainstream. But it seems that in your business, you have a more direct line to the key decision makers and some of your bigger customers, and those are the ones you want to seek out.
Yeah, but I think that concept of the early adopter still applies. I mean, we have in guys like Bob Erie at Lowe's, real innovators that can become evangelists for us and help stump our products when we do roll them out. So if you can get, if you can get those clients involved, they'll become good advocates for your prospects too and help you generate new business.
Innovators have always faced resistance to change within their organizations, and I'm wondering how, in your experience, you've been able to successfully overcome what are always the inevitable objections of the status quo. Maybe you can give me an example of one of the hardest battles you faced of selling through an innovation that you knew that you believed in, that you thought was a great idea, but met with a lot of resistance from within.
Right. So I'll give you some different examples. I think at Express Scripts, we're not known for being, this industry is not known for being particularly innovative, and our company is frankly very financially and operationally driven. But my boss Larry and another peer, Bob Neese, our chief scientist, came up with an idea. They coined consumerology several years back, and initially the senior staff and our board and everything looked at us dumbfounded. Why would you create this crazy word? It doesn't mean anything. Why is that going to be different for clients? Well, consumerology was this whole idea that you could take behavioral economics, which essentially is the intersection of psychology and economics, so that people understanding that consumers don't necessarily buy things rationally, they buy things more emotionally, and understanding the tenets of those emotions so that we can drive change in the pharmacy. And that was foreign to these people. They had no clue what we were talking about. But once we put an advisory board together and it became tangible, and we actually had some concepts and we took some things out to market, it began to get traction. We began to get the Bob Eries of Lowe's on board. Then everybody woke up and said, wow. So I think it's less the big bang theory of innovation and more that incremental stepwise improvement. You have to start, you have to get it moving, and then you have to kind of nurture it through, and you have to influence and really socialize it within your company, and get the senior people on board. It takes time. There's no easy step to changing culture and driving innovation. It takes a lot of hard work from a lot of people, day in and day out, just convincing people that this is the way to go and staying the course when they're all the doubters. There's inevitably going to be a million people telling you why your idea is going to fail. I forget who said that every big idea is either illegal, immoral, impossible, or insane. And that's true. Initially people are always going to react with the idea that, that I can't do this. You're crazy. And you just have to be, stubborn in your pursuit of your big idea.
Great. Yeah, that's a really good lesson, I think, for marketers out there, that you need the conviction and the persistence and the vision to keep at something. And as I always like to say, I think it's sometimes more difficult to sell internally than it is to sell to your customers.
Very true. When you do, it's very powerful. When everybody internally gets on board, then you get your sales force really excited, and the whole process of adoption of a new idea is much more powerful.
All right, great. Hey, John, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today. And we've been talking to John Rindlaub, who's the Vice President of Marketing at Express Scripts. And thanks very much.